There is no such thing as luck. There is no such thing as chance. These are merely words invented by the unawakened mind to explain effects for which it does not understand the causes. We must begin this journey by shattering the greatest illusion that has kept you poor and powerless, which is the belief that the lottery is a game of randomness where you are at the mercy of chaotic forces. This is a lie. The universe does not operate on chaos. It operates on law. Look at the stars in the night sky. Do they move randomly? No. They move with such mathematical precision that astronomers can predict their position 1,000 years from today. Look at the seasons. Do they change by accident? No. They follow a rhythmic, unshakable order. Why then would you believe that the flow of wealth, which is a vital energy of this universe, is the only thing left to accident? It is not. The lottery drawing is not a gamble. It is a spiritual appointment. The winning lottery ticket you desire already exists. This is the truth you must burn into your consciousness before you ever spend another dollar. The numbers that will roll out of the machine next Saturday are not being created in that moment. They already exist in the divine mind, in the fourth dimension of reality, waiting for the physical manifestation to catch up to the spiritual truth. Think of it this way. Before a house is built, it exists in the mind of the architect. It exists on the blueprint. The house is real on paper before it is real in brick and mortar. The lottery jackpot is no different. The combination of numbers is the blueprint. The money is the structure. It is already there. Millions of people waste their money and their energy because they are looking for this wealth in the wrong places. They are looking outside of themselves, hoping that an external machine will randomly favor them. But the universe has already selected you for financial abundance. The question is not whether the wealth exists, but whether you are tuned into the frequency where that wealth is broadcasting. We must expose the exact principles that transform lottery playing from a desperate act of gambling into a spiritual demonstration of your divine right. When you view the lottery as gambling, you are telling the universe that you believe in lack. You are telling the infinite intelligence that you believe resources are scarce and that you must fight against millions of others to snatch a piece of the pie. This consciousness of competition and doubt creates a barrier that pushes the winning numbers away from you. However, when you understand the divine design, you realize that the lottery is simply one of many channels through which the universe demonstrates abundance to a prepared consciousness. The machine that mixes the balls is not a generator of luck. It is a mechanism of delivery. The numbers that drop are not random. They are the physical echo of a spiritual chord that has already been struck. Every lottery sequence that appears random to the human eye is actually following a cosmic pattern of vibrational alignment. Your role in this game of life is not to beg for a win. Your role is to become the person whose consciousness naturally attracts the winning combination. You must shift your identity. You are no longer a gambler hoping for a break. You are a receiver claiming your package. Imagine you have ordered a package from a store. You do not pace the floor, wondering if the package exists. You do not doubt the existence of the delivery truck. You simply wait with expectation, knowing it is on its way. The lottery is the delivery truck. The jackpot is the package. It has already been shipped from the warehouse of the divine. The delay you experience is not a denial. It is simply the time it takes for your internal vibration to match the external reality. Divine intelligence operates through a perfect mathematical order that governs all creation. And this includes the lottery sequences. There is no accident in God's world. If you are holding a ticket that loses, it is not bad luck. It is simply feedback. It is the universe telling you that your frequency was not yet tuned to the station of the winner. When you truly understand that the universe responds to faith rather than chance, your entire approach changes. Participation in the lottery transforms from a frantic, desperate hope into a calm, confident claiming of abundance that spiritual law guarantees. The biblical revelation confirms this principle with absolute clarity when it states that it is done unto you according to your faith. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a law of physics. This verse establishes that manifestation operates through consciousness rather than external circumstances. Your lottery winnings exist right now in the spiritual realm, floating in the ether of possibility, waiting for recognition. They are waiting for an awareness aligned with spiritual law to claim them. Most people approach the lottery from a consciousness of lack, focusing entirely on avoiding loss or escaping poverty. They focus on the debt they want to pay off, not the wealth they want to embody. But you are different. You are here because you are ready to awaken. You are ready to stop playing the game of chance and start playing the game of law. The numbers are waiting. The money is waiting. The lifestyle is waiting. It is all held in trust for you by the divine mind. The only thing standing between you and that jackpot is the illusion that it is hard, or that it is random, or that it is unlikely. Dissolve that illusion. The probability of you winning is 100% the moment your faith becomes absolute. The winning ticket is not a prize to be won. It is a receipt for a deposit you have already made in the bank of the Spirit. As we move deeper into this understanding, remember that you are not fighting the odds. You are aligning with the inevitable. The winning ticket exists. The appointment is set. The only variable left in this equation is you. Now that we have shattered the illusion of chance and accepted that your winning ticket is a spiritual reality waiting to manifest, we must address the mechanism that bridges the gap between the invisible wealth in the divine mind and the physical cash in your bank account. That mechanism is the law of preparation and expectancy. Most people fail to win the lottery, not because the universe is unwilling to give, but because they are unprepared to receive. You cannot put new wine into old bottles, and you cannot pour millions of dollars of abundance into a consciousness that is cramped with fear, doubt, and limitation. The universe is always broadcasting abundance. But if your receiver is turned off or tuned to the frequency of lack, the signal cannot get through. This brings us to the profound teachings of the woman known as the Contest Queen, Helen Hadsel, who did not merely play games of chance, but mastered the science of manifestation. She won over 5,000 prizes, including houses, cars, and cash, not because she was lucky, but because she understood that luck is simply the meeting point of preparation and opportunity. She codified this spiritual technology into a method she called SPEC, which stands for Select It, Project It, Expect It, and Collect It. We must dissect this method with the seriousness of a surgeon because this is where your life changes. The first step is to select it. This seems simple, but it is where 90% of people fail. They approach the universe with vague requests. They say they want to win some money, or they want enough to pay their bills. The divine mind works with exactitude. You cannot go to a travel agent and ask for a ticket to somewhere nice. You must specify a destination. To use the lottery as a spiritual tool, you must be precise. You must select the outcome you desire with absolute clarity. If it is the jackpot you want, do not waver. If it is a specific amount to clear your debts and buy a home, state that figure. Clarity of desire is the first step of faith because it signals to the universe that you have made a decision. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and a vague desire creates a vague result. You must know exactly what you are calling forth from the unformed substance of the universal supply. Once you have selected your objective, you must project it. This is the act of seeing the wish fulfilled. However, this is not merely daydreaming. Daydreaming is a passive escape from reality, whereas projection is the active construction of a new reality. You must see yourself holding that ticket. You must see the numbers matching. But more than seeing, You must feel the reality of it. The subconscious mind does not speak English or any human language. It speaks the language of feeling and imagery. When Helen Hadsell wanted a car, she didn't just think about a car. She sat in her armchair and felt her hands on the steering wheel. She smelled the new leather. She felt the vibration of the engine. You must project yourself into the future where the win has already happened and look back at the present moment. This collapses the timeline. In the spiritual realm, there is no future. There is only the eternal now. When you project the feeling of the win into the present moment, you are telling the universe that it is already done. And the universe, which operates as a giant mirror, must reflect that reality back to you as a physical event. Now, we arrive at the most difficult and critical stage of the SPEC method, which is to expect it. This is the heart of the law of preparation. There is a vast ocean of difference between hoping for something and expecting it. Hope has a shadow of doubt. Hope admits the possibility of failure. Expectancy knows only the arrival. Imagine you have invited a distinguished guest to dinner. You do not wait for them to knock on the door before you clean your house, cook the meal, and set the table. You prepare everything hours in advance because you fully expect them to arrive. If you did not prepare, it would be an insult to the guest, proving you did not really believe they were coming. The same applies to money. You are asking for millions. But is your house prepared? Is your mind prepared? If you are asking for wealth, but you dread opening your mailbox because of bills, you are living in a vibration of contradiction. You are canceling your own prayer. You cannot prepare for a win and prepare for a loss at the same time. To truly expect the lottery win, you must begin to act as if the money is already yours. This is what Scripture means when it says you must dig the ditches before the rain comes. You must prepare the vessels. This might mean browsing for the house you will buy and actually contacting the realtor, not as a dreamer, but as a future buyer. It might mean writing out a budget for how you will allocate your millions. When you do this, you move from a state of wanting to a state of having. Helen Hadsell famously cleared a space in her garage for a boat she had entered a contest to win. She had not won it yet, but she prepared the physical space for it. Her neighbors might have thought she was foolish, but when the boat arrived, she was the one justified by law. You must ask yourself right now what you would do differently today if you knew for a fact that the money was coming next week. Would you walk with more confidence? Would you treat people with more generosity? Would you sleep more soundly? Start doing those things now. That behavior is the frequency of expectancy. This leads us to the final component, which is to collect it. This is the phase of receiving. You might think this is the easy part, but many block their good right at the threshold because they do not feel worthy. You must cultivate a consciousness that feels comfortable with wealth. If you secretly resent rich people, or if you believe money is evil, you will subconsciously sabotage your win. You will lose the ticket, or you will pick the wrong numbers, or you will win and lose it all shortly after. You must align your moral compass with prosperity. You must understand that money is spiritual energy, a tool for good, and that you are a worthy vessel for it. Collecting requires a state of grace and gratitude. It means living in a state of thank you before the gift arrives. Gratitude is the ultimate signal of reception, because we are usually only grateful for things we have already received. Therefore, by feeling gratitude now, you trick the linear time of the physical world and magnetize the event to you. We must also address the vibrational contradiction that plagues so many lottery players. They purchase a ticket, which is an act of abundance, but they do it with a heart full of fear. They think about what will happen if they lose. They worry about the money they spent on the ticket. This mixed consciousness broadcasts confusion to the universe. Your consciousness operates as a broadcasting station. If you broadcast a signal of, "I want to win," for 5 minutes a day, but broadcast a signal of, "I am broke and worried," for the other 16 hours, the stronger signal wins. The universe responds to your dominant vibration, not your temporary whim. You must cleanse your vibration every time you buy a ticket. It must be a sacred ritual. You are not throwing money away. You are planting a seed in the fertile soil of the divine mind. You must bless the money you spend on the ticket, knowing it circulates to do good, and bless the ticket you hold, knowing it is the bridge to your new life. The law of preparation demands that you eliminate the plan B that assumes failure. When you have a safety net for failure, you are telling your subconscious that you expect to fall. This does not mean being irresponsible with your current resources. It means being absolute in your conviction. Remember the biblical story of the woman who wanted a home. She did not have the money, but she went out and bought blankets for the beds in that future house. That act of purchasing blankets was the lever that moved the world. It was active faith. What are your blankets? What small physical action can you take today that proves you believe your winning numbers are drawn? Perhaps it is looking at tax attorneys. Perhaps it is planning your charitable foundation. These are the acts of a winner. You must wear the trench coat of success before the weather of wealth arrives. As we move toward the next phase of understanding, which involves the intuitive selection of the numbers themselves, you must anchor yourself in this truth of expectancy. The lottery is not a gamble to the awakened soul. It is a demonstration. You are not trying to get something from the outside. You are releasing something from the inside. The millions you seek are already in your consciousness, or you would not desire them. The desire itself is the proof of the supply. By using the spec method, by selecting with precision, projecting with sensory detail, expecting with active preparation, and being ready to collect with worthiness, you transform a piece of paper into a promissory note from the universe. You stop chasing luck and you start attracting destiny. You become a magnet that the steel of wealth cannot resist. Stand tall in this knowing. For your preparation is the invitation that the universe cannot refuse. The table is set. The guest is coming. Be ready. We now approach the most critical threshold in your journey toward lottery abundance. A threshold that very few ever cross because it requires you to dismantle the very tool you have been taught to rely upon for your survival. That tool is your human intellect, the greatest enemy of your intuition, and the single greatest barrier between you and the winning jackpot is your reasoning mind. The intellect is a wonderful servant for navigating the physical world, for driving a car or balancing a checkbook. But it is a terrible master when it comes to the miraculous. You cannot calculate a miracle. You cannot use a spreadsheet to force the hand of God. The lottery, by its very nature, defies human logic. It is designed to be statistically impossible for the reasoning mind to solve. Yet, it is effortlessly simple for divine intelligence to orchestrate. When you try to win the lottery by analyzing past draws, studying hot and cold numbers, or calculating odds, you are using a finite tool to try and unlock an infinite mystery. You are trying to use a ruler to measure the depth of the ocean. It is an exercise in futility that leads only to frustration and lack. To win, you must stop thinking and start knowing. You must move from the noisy confusion of the brain to the absolute clarity of the gut. We call this the Gideon principle. To understand why your logic is your enemy in this game, we must look to the ancient wisdom found in the story of Gideon. This is not just a religious story. It is a metaphysical blueprint for how divine intelligence operates in the face of impossible odds. In the story, Gideon was preparing for a battle against the Midianites, a massive army that vastly outnumbered him. Gideon, operating from human logic, gathered an army of 32,000 men. His logic told him that to win a big battle, he needed big numbers. He needed force. He needed a statistical advantage. But the divine voice spoke to Gideon and said that the people with him were too many. This defies all human reason. How can you have too many resources? But the divine wisdom knew that if Gideon won with a massive army, he would claim the victory for himself. He would think his human effort had saved him. So God instructed him to send home anyone who was afraid. 22,000 men left. But the divine voice said the people are still too many. Through a specific test at the water, the army was reduced again, all the way down to a mere 300 men. Imagine the fear in Gideon's reasoning mind. He was facing a massive enemy with a tiny handful of soldiers. The odds were impossible. The statistics were a guarantee of failure. But Gideon trusted the divine instruction over the human calculation. And with those 300 men, aligned with divine power, he won a decisive, miraculous victory. You are standing before the lottery terminal exactly like Gideon stood before the Midianites. Your enemy is the astronomical odds of winning. Your human intellect wants to gather an army to fight these odds. Your army is your system of lucky numbers, your analysis of frequency charts, your quick picks, and your desperation. You think that if you buy more tickets, or if you analyze the data harder, you will have a better chance. You are trying to win with the 32,000. But the universe is telling you what it told Gideon. You have too many thoughts. You have too much logic. You are relying too much on your own strength. For the miracle to happen, you must strip away the human effort until only the naked faith remains. You must reduce your reliance on external data so that the internal guidance can be heard. The victory of the lottery win does not come because you were smart enough to figure out the pattern. It comes because you were humble enough to receive the answer. The winning numbers are not a puzzle to be solved. They are a gift to be received. The specific mechanism for applying the Gideon principle is the silencing of the analytical mind. The intellect is noisy. It is constantly chattering about doubts, fears, bills, and probabilities. This mental static creates a wall of interference that blocks the signal from the divine mind. The winning numbers are being broadcast to you right now. The universe is constantly transmitting the solution to your financial freedom, but you cannot hear the music because you are too busy tuning the radio. You must learn to create a vacuum of silence within your consciousness. Nature abhors a vacuum, and spirit is the same. When you create a space of total silence, where the ego is suspended and the logic is turned off, divine intelligence rushes in to fill that space, and it fills it with the specific information you need. This is why many winners report that the numbers just popped into their heads while they were doing something mundane, like washing dishes or driving. They were not thinking about the lottery. Their intellect was distracted or relaxed. And in that gap, the intuition slipped through. So how do you practically select numbers using this principle? You do not sit down with a pen and paper and struggle. You do not force it. You begin by entering a state of meditative awareness. You close your eyes and consciously tell your brain to take a back seat. You affirm to yourself that there is an infinite intelligence that knows the future as clearly as the past, and that this intelligence is within you. You ask, simply and quietly, for the numbers that are yours by divine right. And then, you wait. This waiting is an active, alert stillness. You are not looking for the numbers, you are allowing them to reveal themselves. They may not come as a voice. They may come as a visual flash of a billboard. You might see a license plate number that feels heavy or bright to you. You might have a dream where a certain date appears. You might feel a physical sensation in your hand when your pen hovers over a play slip. These are the whispers of the Gideon force. They are small, quiet, and easily ignored if you are looking for a loud, logical reason. The intellect screams, but the intuition whispers. You must value the whisper above the scream. The hardest part of this process is the doubt that the intellect will scream at you once you have received the numbers. You will get a hunch to play a certain sequence, and immediately your brain will say that those numbers haven't come up in months, or that they look too weird, or that you should play your children's birthdays instead. This is the moment of truth. This is Gideon, looking at his 300 men and trembling. Your brain will tell you that trusting a hunch is foolish. It will tell you that you are throwing your money away. You must recognize this voice for what it is. It is the voice of the limited self that is terrified of the unknown. You must have the courage to say to your intellect that you are not playing this game alone. You are playing it with the partner who created the stars. You must hold your ground. When you override your logic to follow a hunch, you are building a spiritual muscle. You are proving to the universe that you trust its guidance more than your own fear. This act of trust is the vibrational key that unlocks the door. Remember that the intuitive selection requires you to release the need to understand how it works. The intellect is obsessed with how. How can I know these are the winners? How does the future communicate with the present? The how is not your business. The how belongs to the realm of the divine mystery. Your business is the what and the now. When you operate from the Gideon principle, you accept that there are forces at work that are beyond your comprehension but are entirely within your reach. You accept that the winning combination is a predetermined event in the mind of God, and your only job is to align your receiver to that frequency. Stop struggling. Stop calculating. Stop worrying about the odds. The odds apply to the crowd, not to the chosen. The odds apply to the 32,000, not to the 300. When you stand in the silence of your own being, connected to the source, you are the majority. You have the unfair advantage of the Almighty. The numbers will come when the mind is still. Trust the silence, for it speaks the language of your destiny. The victory is not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. This is the only way to win the game of life, and it is the only way to claim the wealth that has been prepared for you. Silence the mind, and the treasure will reveal itself. You have just learned the Gideon principle, the profound art of silencing the intellect to hear the divine whisper. Before we unlock the next secret, the forbidden technology of using your 5 senses to physically bend reality and quantum entangle with your jackpot, I invite you to pause for a micro moment. If this ancient wisdom is resonating with your spirit, press the like button now. It is a small act, but it signals to the universe that you appreciate the truth. And if you have not yet joined our circle of conscious creators, press subscribe and the notification bell. Do not miss the guidance that is trying to reach you. Now, let us discover how to touch, smell, and taste your victory before it even arrives. We have silenced the noise of the intellect and opened the channel of intuition. But now we must move from the passive reception of guidance to the active construction of your new reality. This brings us to the mechanism of creation itself, a process where spiritual law meets quantum physics. We call this sensory manifestation and quantum entanglement. You may have heard that thoughts become things, but this is an incomplete truth that has led many astray. Thoughts alone are merely wisps of smoke. It is the visceral, sensory experience of the thought that solidifies it into matter. To manifest a lottery victory, you cannot simply wish for it in your mind. You must experience it in your nervous system. We know today what the mystics knew thousands of years ago, which is that your subconscious mind is a faithful servant, but it is blind. It cannot distinguish between a physical event that is happening in the outer world and an imagined event that is vividly experienced in the inner world. When you master the art of sensory manifestation, you are hacking the code of reality. You are creating a memory of the future that is so real, so textured, and so undeniable that the universe has no choice but to reshape physical matter to match your internal blueprint. This is where the concept of quantum entanglement becomes your greatest ally. In the realm of quantum physics, we learn that when two particles interact, they become entangled, meaning the state of one instantly affects the state of the other, regardless of the distance between them. Spiritual law operates on the same principle. When you vividly imagine your lottery win with high emotional intensity, you are creating a quantum entanglement between your consciousness and that future timeline. You are not just watching a movie of yourself winning, you are merging your current identity with the future identity of the winner. This connection creates a magnetic pull that collapses time. The gap between now and then disappears. To achieve this, you must engage the technology of the five senses. Most people visualize like they are watching a television screen. They see themselves holding the check, but they are distant observers. This is ineffective because it keeps the wealth separate from you. You must step inside the screen. You must become the actor, not the audience. Let us break this down into a practical discipline that you must practice with the dedication of an athlete. First, engage the sense of touch. In your imagination, do not just see the winning ticket. Feel the texture of the paper between your fingertips. Is it smooth? Is it slightly crinkled? Feel the weight of the pen in your hand as you sign your name on the back of the ticket to claim it. Feel the solid wood of the desk at the lottery office. This tactile sensation sends a signal to your brain that the object is real. Next, engage the sense of hearing. What does the moment of victory sound like? It is not just a silent picture. Hear the specific ringtone of your phone when the call comes in. Hear the gasp of your spouse or your friend when you show them the numbers. Hear the sound of the champagne cork popping. Hear the teller at the bank saying, "The funds have been cleared." Kazir. These auditory details create a vibrational frequency that echoes in the universe. Then, you must engage the sense of smell and taste. These are the most primal senses, linked directly to the emotional centers of the brain. What does the air smell like in the car dealership where you are buying your dream car? It has that distinct scent of new leather and polish. Smell it now. What does the celebration dinner taste like? Taste the richness of the steak or the sweetness of the wine. By engaging these senses, you are building a neurological track in your brain. You are literally rewiring your gray matter to accommodate the reality of wealth. The brain needs a groove to run in. If you have been poor your whole life, your brain has no neurological pathway for millionaire. You must build that pathway in the dark room of your imagination so that the light of the physical world can flow through it. This is why we say you must prepare the vessel. Your nervous system is the vessel. If it is not conditioned to hold the voltage of extreme wealth, it will short circuit. This is why many lottery winners lose everything within a few years. They had the money, but they did not have the sensory container to hold it. We see this principle perfectly illustrated in the life of Dave Ramsey, the renowned financial teacher, before he was the wealthy man he is today. He went through a crushing bankruptcy. He lost everything. He was at zero. But he did not stay there because his internal reality had not changed. He understood the principle of stewardship and abundance. Though he did not win a lottery ticket, he rebuilt his empire because his consciousness was entangled with prosperity. He refused to accept the sensory evidence of poverty as the final truth. He maintained the internal posture of a wealthy man even when his bank account was empty. This is the secret. You must act as if. But acting as if is not pretending to be rich to impress others. It is pretending to be rich to impress your own subconscious mind. It is a private rehearsal. You must walk through your house with the posture of someone who has millions in the bank. How does that person walk? They do not rush. They do not hunch their shoulders in worry. They move with grace, with ease, with a sense of security that cannot be shaken. The most critical component of this sensory manifestation is the feeling of relief. Many people mistake excitement for the vibration of manifestation. Excitement is good, but excitement implies that the thing is new, surprising, or perhaps fleeting. The highest vibration is relief. It is the deep exhale of the soul that says, "It is done." Think about it. If you truly won the lottery yesterday, how would you feel today? You would not be jumping up and down, screaming for 24 hours straight. You would feel a profound, quiet sense of safety. You would look at your bills and feel nothing but peace because you know they are paid. You would look at your future and see only freedom. You must capture this feeling of relief now, before the money arrives. This is the key that unlocks the door. Before they call, I will answer. You must feel the answer while you are still calling. You must feel the relief of the debt being paid while the debt is still on the paper. This is what creates the quantum bridge. The universe receives the signal of relief and interprets it as the event has happened, and thus it rushes to rearrange the physical circumstances to match that signal. You are creating a vibrational template. Just as a builder pours concrete into a mold to create a foundation, you are pouring the substance of the universe into the mold of your imagination. If your mold is weak, vague, or filled with holes of doubt, the concrete will spill out and form a shapeless mess. But if your mold is sharp, detailed, and held firm by the conviction of your senses, the result will be a solid, physical reality. You must do this work daily. It is not a one-time ritual. It is a lifestyle. Every night, as you drift to sleep, you enter the state akin to sleep, where the conscious mind drifts away and the subconscious door swings wide open. This is your prime time. Do not waste these precious minutes worrying about tomorrow. Use them to replay the scene of your victory. Loop it. Feel the handshake of the lottery official. Feel the paper. Smell the money. Feel the relief. Do this until you fall asleep in the arms of your wish fulfilled. When you practice sensory manifestation with this level of intensity, you create a state of knowing. You stop hoping you will win. You stop wondering if it will happen. You begin to know it, with the same certainty that you know the sun will rise. You know your name. You do not need to affirm your name. You simply know it. You must reach the point where being a lottery winner is as natural to you as being yourself. When the internal reality becomes more real to you than the external illusion, the external illusion must shatter and reform. The lottery numbers are just the delivery mechanism. The real jackpot is the transformation of your mind. When you are entangled with the energy of abundance, the ticket finds you. The numbers find you. The miracle finds you. You are no longer chasing the butterfly of wealth. You have become the garden where the butterfly chooses to land. Stand firm in your sensory reality, for it is the rock upon which your fortune is built. We have journeyed through the active phases of your spiritual work. We have shattered the illusion of luck. We have prepared the soil with expectancy. We have silenced the intellect to hear the intuition. And we have used sensory manifestation to build the vessel. Now, we arrive at the most challenging barrier for the human ego, the final gate through which you must pass to claim your lottery victory. This is the understanding of divine timing and the practice of non-resistance. This is where most students of the law fail. They do the work. They visualize. They buy the ticket. And then they ruin everything with one fatal error. They look at the clock. They look at the calendar. They stomp their feet and ask why it hasn't happened yet. This anxiety, this impatience, is not harmless. It is a violent act of resistance against your own desire. You must understand that while time is an illusion of the physical world, timing is a law of the spiritual world. There is a rhythm to the universe that is as precise as the heartbeat of a sleeping child. You cannot force a rose to bloom by prying open its petals with your fingers. You will only destroy the flower. In the same way, you cannot force the lottery jackpot to manifest by gripping it tightly with your desperation. You must learn the art of allowing. To understand why divine timing is non-negotiable, we must look at the nature of gestation. Every seed has a gestation period. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up every morning to see if it has roots. If you did that, you would kill the seed. You trust that in the invisible darkness of the soil, intelligent forces are at work. Your lottery win is a seed. You have planted it with your selection, your projection, and your expectation. Now, you must leave it alone. Divine timing is the period required for the universe to rearrange the chessboard of life to accommodate your win. Consider the logistics involved in a lottery win. It is not just about you. It involves the person who sells the ticket, the machine that prints it, the exact moment you walk into the store, and the precise mechanical operation of the drawing itself. Infinite variables must be coordinated to bring you and that winning combination together at the perfect intersection of time and space. Only the infinite intelligence can orchestrate this. When you are impatient, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not trust its management of the details. You are trying to micromanage God. This lack of trust creates a vibration of friction that repels the very thing you are trying to attract. We see the mastery of this principle in the life of Richard Lustig, a man who did not win the lottery once, which could be dismissed as a fluke, but 7 times. 7 separate grand prizes. If you analyze his journey, you do not see a man who was frantic, desperate, or chasing the wind. You see a man who understood the rhythm of the game. He did not win all 7 times in 1 week. His wins were spread out over years. From 1993 to 2010, this is the embodiment of divine timing. He maintained a winning consciousness consistently over a long period. He did not play out of a place of lack. He played out of a place of rhythm. He understood that there are seasons to the harvest. There were times when the energy was right to play, and there were times to rest. This is a critical lesson for you. You must learn to read your own internal barometer. There will be days when you feel a sudden, inexplicable urge to buy a ticket. The energy feels light, fun, and expansive. That is the green light of intuition. But there will be other days when you feel heavy, anxious, or you are only playing because you need money to pay a bill. That is the red light. That is resistance. If you play when you are in a state of fear or desperation, you are throwing your money into a void. You are trying to reap a harvest in the middle of winter. This brings us to the law of non-resistance, which states that what you resist persists. If you are resisting your current financial situation, if you are hating your job, hating your bills, and looking at the lottery as your only escape rope, you are bound to your poverty. Desperation is the loudest signal you can broadcast, and it screams, "I do not have." The universe, being a faithful mirror, reflects that signal back to you as more not having. To win the lottery, you must reach a state of mind where you do not need to win the lottery to be happy. This sounds like a paradox. And indeed, all great spiritual truths are paradoxes. You must desire the wealth, but you must not require it for your peace. You must be able to say to the universe, "I would love this jackpot, and I am ready for it, but I am also whole and complete without it." When you reach this state of detachment, you cut the cords of resistance. You stop strangling the energy. You open the floodgates. It is often said that the watched pot never boils. This is because the energy of watching is the energy of waiting. And the energy of waiting implies absence. You must stop waiting and start living. Practical non-resistance means that once you have bought your ticket, you must completely release the outcome. This is a mental discipline. You hold the ticket in your hand. You bless it. You feel the thrill of the possibility. And then you mentally place it on the altar of the divine. You say, "Thy will be done." And then you go about your day. You do not sit by the phone. You do not obsess over the numbers. You engage in your life. You find joy in your work, your family, your hobbies. You raise your vibration by being grateful for what is already present. By taking your focus off the lack of the jackpot, you allow the jackpot to enter. Richard Lustig didn't spend 20 years sitting in a dark room praying for numbers. He lived his life, and the winds came as a natural addition to a life that was already in motion. The universe likes motion. It likes flow. When you are fixated on the outcome, you are stagnant. You are frozen in a state of wanting. You must flow. You must be like water. Water does not struggle to reach the ocean. It simply flows around obstacles, trusting gravity to take it there. Your gravity is your faith. It will take you to your ocean of abundance if you stop grabbing at the rocks along the bank. Furthermore, divine timing protects you. Sometimes, the delay you are cursing is actually a blessing you do not yet understand. Perhaps if you won the jackpot 3 years ago, you would have lacked the maturity to handle it and would have destroyed your life. Perhaps there were lessons you needed to learn about stewardship, or relationships, or self-worth before the heavy weight of millions could be placed upon your shoulders. The universe is not withholding your good. It is preparing you to keep it. The money is ready. But are you? The time it takes for the manifestation to appear is the time it takes for you to become the person who can wield that power. Use the waiting period not to worry, but to prepare. Use it to refine your character. Use it to clean up your beliefs. When you shift your perspective from waiting for the money to preparing for the arrival, the anxiety disappears, and excitement takes place. You are no longer a victim of time. You are a student of it. Finally, we must address the feeling of envy. When you see others winning, when you see the news of a new millionaire, what is your reaction? If you feel jealousy, anger, or a sense of why not me, you are creating resistance. You are telling the universe that there is a limited supply of luck and that someone else took yours. This is the scarcity mindset. In the divine economy, there is no competition. One person's success does not rob you of yours. It proves that success is possible. You must learn to bless the winners. When you see someone win, you should celebrate as if it were your own brother or sister. You should say, "Thank you, universe, for showing me the evidence of abundance." By celebrating the success of others, you align yourself with the frequency of success. You tell the subconscious mind that winning is good, that it is safe, and that it is near. You become a friend to wealth, and wealth likes to visit its friends. So, your instruction for this chapter is profound in its simplicity, but difficult in its practice. You must let go. You have placed your order with the cosmic kitchen. The chef is preparing your meal. Do not run into the kitchen every 5 minutes screaming at the chef. Sit down. Enjoy the company of those around you. Drink your water. Trust that the service is perfect and that your order will be delivered at the precise moment your hunger is ready to be satisfied. The ticket is in your pocket. The dream is in your heart. The timing is in God's hands. Relax, breathe, and know that what is yours will never miss you. It is making its way to you now, under grace, in a perfect way. All you have to do is keep the door unlocked and the lights on. The guest is coming. Be at peace. We have now reached the summit of this journey together. We have traveled from the valley of ignorance, where luck was a cruel master and chance was a false god. And we have ascended to the mountaintop of understanding, where you now stand as a conscious creator of your own destiny. It is vital that you pause here, in these final moments, to recognize that the person listening to my voice right now is not the same person who clicked on this video at the beginning. The old you was a gambler. The old you was a victim of circumstances, hoping that a random ball dropping from a machine would save you from your life. But that version of you has dissolved. It has been replaced by a student of the law, an awakened soul who understands that the lottery is not a game of probability, but a ceremony of alignment. You now possess the keys that the masses do not have. You understand that the winning ticket is not the source of your wealth, but merely the physical receipt for the spiritual abundance you have already claimed in your consciousness. Let us briefly survey the ground we have covered, so that the logic of this system is cemented in your mind like a fortress. You have learned that the illusion of chance is a lie, and that the universe operates on precise mathematical and spiritual laws. You have accepted the law of preparation, understanding that you must dig your ditches before the rain comes, and that you must live in the expectancy of the guest before they arrive. You have mastered the Gideon principle, silencing the noisy, fearful chatter of the intellect so that the quiet, golden whisper of intuition can guide your hand to the numbers that are yours by divine right. You have learned the art of sensory manifestation, using the quantum entanglement of touch, taste, sound, and smell to collapse the timeline and merge your present self with your future victory. And you have learned the hardest lesson of all, which is divine timing and non-resistance. The art of letting go of the how and the when, trusting that the infinite intelligence that spins the planets knows exactly when to deliver your harvest. These are not separate techniques. They are the links in a golden chain. If one link is missing, the chain breaks. But when you forge them together with consistency and faith, they become an anchor that pulls the future into the now. Now, we must address the final and most potent step in this process, which is the power of the decree. In the ancient scriptures and in the teachings of the great metaphysical masters, it is written that you shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. Note the word decree. It does not say you shall wish for a thing. It does not say you shall beg for a thing. To beg implies you do not have. To wish implies you doubt. But to decree is to command. It is the act of a sovereign ruler issuing an order to the universe. When a king or a queen sits on the throne, they do not ask if the law can be upheld. They declare it so, and the entire kingdom moves to obey. You are the king and queen of your own consciousness. The atoms of your world are your subjects, and they are waiting for a clear command. Up until now, your commands have been weak. You have been decreeing poverty by saying I can't afford it. You have been decreeing bad luck by saying I never win anything. Today, that ends. Today, we rewrite the constitution of your life. This final decree is not just a collection of pretty words. It is a vibrational seal. It is a contract you are signing with the universal mind. When you speak these words, you must not mumble them. You must speak them with the feeling of the sensory reality we discussed. You must speak them as if the check is already in your hand and the money is already in the bank. We are going to construct this decree together, and I want you to memorize it. Write it down, and make it the mantra of your new life. It has 3 parts. The first part is the banishment of the past, where we cut the cords to the old identity of the loser. The second part is the alignment of the present, where we claim our partnership with God. The third part is the command of the future, where we accept the specific abundance of the lottery victory. Listen closely to the vibration of these words. I banish the past. I banish every memory of loss. every feeling of lack, and every belief in limitation that has ever taken root in my mind. They are dead branches, and I cut them off now. I forgive myself for my past ignorance, and I step into the light of a new day. I am now one with the infinite intelligence that created the stars and the galaxies. This intelligence is my silent partner, my guide, and my supply. I am not alone in this game. I am divinely backed, divinely guided, and divinely protected. My mind is a center of divine operation, and my intuition is the voice of truth that never fails. I now declare that the channels of abundance are open to me. I decree that the perfect winning numbers are revealed to me in perfect timing. I decree that my wealth is not a matter of chance, but a matter of law. I am ready to receive. I am worthy to receive. I claim the jackpot not just for my own comfort, but so that I may be a distributor of good to the world. The money is mine. The victory is mine. It is done. It is finished. And so it is. I want you to take a moment and feel the weight of those words. Do you feel the shift in the atmosphere around you? That is the energy of the decree rearranging the atoms of your reality. But a decree must be sealed with an action. In the ancient times, a covenant was always sealed with a physical sign. We do not have to sacrifice animals or build stone altars. But we must perform a physical act that tells the body and the subconscious mind that we are serious. Therefore, I am asking you now to perform 2 simple acts of alignment. First, if you are truly ready to leave the old world of gambling behind and enter the new world of receiving, I ask you to join this community by subscribing to this channel. Do not do it just to see more videos. Do it as a symbolic act of saying, I belong to the tribe of winners. I am aligning myself with this wisdom. Second, and this is crucial for your manifestation, I want you to go to the comment section below and write your own decree. You can write the words, I claim my divine inheritance, or you can write your own specific declaration of wealth. Why is this important? Because writing is a psychoneurological act. When you take the thought from your mind and type it out with your fingers, you are bringing it into the physical world. You are grounding the electricity of the thought into the matter of the screen. It is the first step of materialization. When you see your name next to that declaration, you are making a public stand. You are telling the universe that you are not hiding anymore. You are ready to be seen as the wealthy, abundant soul you were created to be. Do not underestimate the power of this simple act. It is the signature on your spiritual contract. As we close this transmission, I want you to carry this truth with you. The universe is not a cold, dark void. It is a loving, intelligent, living presence that wants you to win. It takes no pleasure in your struggle. It delights in your prosperity. The lottery is simply a game, a tool, a mechanism that the universe uses to transfer wealth to those who are ready to handle it. You have done the work. You have learned the rules. You have prepared the vessel. Now, your only job is to walk in peace, to listen to the whispers of your intuition, and to keep your heart open to the surprises that are coming your way. Do not worry about the how. Do not stress about the when. The divine design never fails. You are a child of the Most High, and your inheritance is waiting for you to claim it. Go forth with confidence. Go forth with joy. And remember, the winning ticket was printed for you before the foundation of the world. It is time to go pick it up. Blessings to you, and I will see you in the winner's circle.